Let's talk about a system that I have developed in Mewgenics that does not um it doesn't do the inbreeding part. I'll get to why I do not like inbreeding in eugenics and why I tried to work around it. Now, uh disclaimer. This guide, I'm not really like a person who makes who's very good at making guides. I like to do it. I'm not really that good at it. And second, it's gonna be like a little bit of an advanced guide. I like and yeah, there'll be some spoilers, but what I want to say is that this is more of like an end game guide where it's more like you are trying to get ready for the higher difficulties which like actually require you to breed good cats, right? So before that, there are way simpler ways to do it, and you shouldn't really care about it all that much, especially about like inbred cats. But for me, I think it's important. So yeah, that's about it. Also, I will be just like I will not be explaining everything. I kind of assume the audience of this video to have some hours in the game, know what's up here and there, have like an idea what like a full stat cat is, so what's a stray, and uh how stimulation works and how comfort works. So I assume you understand these concepts, and I will not be explaining them in this video. Now, a quick summary. So this is what like I'm currently doing. So I am I'm like personally I am passing down a passive ability. The system can easily pass down all four abilities that a kitten can inherit: two actives and two passives. Wait, no, sorry, sorry, one passive, two actives. Uh, but obviously that's like very much in the future. But it can work. You can expand. Currently, stats are not what important to me. My cats with this strategy are all sevens, or they're just like missing a single stat. It's like they have all sevens, and then they have like a six in movement or something like that. And yeah, the problem with this strategy is pretty slow. It takes a couple of days to get like enough cats that I can bring out on an adventure. It takes a while, and it's actually also hard not only to set up, but it's actually kind of hard to maintain. Like you have to pay attention. It's not really automatic. It's a system that works and it loops and it's pretty good. It's pretty robust, but you have to do some like manual work that I would like to eliminate somewhere in the future. I I'm not sure how much better can it get without inbreeding. Obviously, inbreeding is not as bad. I'll talk about it on the next slide. But yeah, this has 0% inbreeding. Why does it have 0% inbreeding? Well, let's talk about it. First things first, I have a personal bias where I just like obviously when a kitten in this game is inbred, that's a bad thing. I kind of like I would like my kittens to be perfect. So, I don't like the idea that they'll just like be inbred, even though if it doesn't affect anything, even though if it's a very inbred kitten that locked out and has no birth defects, I still would rather have like a kitten that's not inbred. Second, inbreeding got nerfed. It got nerfed in the latest patch. It's not as bad as you think. The developers were pretty vague with what happened, but there's a Reddit post explaining it. TLDR, it only affects cats uh, that have uh, birth defects. So it's not as bad as people think. It's not really that big of a deal. But I think it will get nerfed in the future. I believe Edmund is not the type of guy who's like, yeah, you can just like have all the cats run around, fuck each other, make like millions of children, and you just like, and they'll, exponentially get better, and you'll have perfect cats by doing nothing. I think he wants us to put effort in, and I see a lot of setups, and some of them are like pretty careless. Like they just have like millions of kittens, cats running around, breeding with each other, being incredibly inbred, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't like really affect passing down abilities, and it doesn't really affect the stats all that much. And mutations are pretty fucking good, so it doesn't really matter in the long run. I think inbreeding will be nerfed even more in the future. I know a lot of people will not like it. This is just what I think is gonna happen, and I'm just preparing for the apocalypse, okay? Now let's get into this. What do we need? So you need a bull. The bull is gonna be a cat that's gonna be making kittens that you want, right? Like, let's just say you have a good passive, you want kittens with that passive. Well, the cat with that passive is gonna be the bull. Obviously, I'm gonna say this once, right? When I'm talking about a cat, I feel like we have to both assume that that cat can breed. We're talking about a breeding guide. I really hope I will not see like a comment that's like, "Oh, but my bull is gay. Can we make that work?" Unless it's non-binary, then probably not. And I hope you should know that. All right. So that's the important like thing number one. We need the bull, the actual cat you want to breed. And then you need two high status cats. There are videos on YouTube that tell you exactly how to breed perfect cats. What they mean is cats that have all seven stats maxed out. So this is what I mean by two high status cats. I'm saying high status because I want this guide to be implemented even at like lower stages of the game. You do not need perfect cats for this, but you are being highly encouraged to get them. I'm not joking. Like, they're very good. You should get them. And yeah. Now you need three rooms, preferably four. I'll get into why later, but just like you need that. It unlocks not like at the start of the game. You need to play the game for a bit to get three rooms. So it's something you're gonna need. And then overall high appeal. Appeal is the name of the game in this setup. You need high appeal. As of now, I think I have like 116 appeal, and I plan on getting more. I have to say though, the strategy is working out pretty well for me since like 70 appeal, I think. So you do not need to like panic if you do not have that much. But yeah, appeal is the name of the game. I highly encourage you to get like appealing furniture. Like, it's pretty good. Great. So let's get into it. So this is gonna be the overview. This is just gonna be how it works. So you'll have a bull and its partner somewhere, and they're gonna be making kittens. And then we will be filtering out those kittens if they are desirable or not, right? If they like, obviously, if you're trying to pass down an ability and the kitten does not have that ability, well, then the kitten is useless, and you can just like do whatever with it. Now, to prevent this system from just like failing, imagine like your bull dies too early, and like you don't really have like a cat to take its place. That's why we're gonna be making successors, which are basically fail states, right? Like, it's gonna have a son that's just gonna be sitting in a room doing nothing, and eventually, like when the bull dies, you will replace the bull with the son or the daughter or they them, like the non-binary cat. It doesn't really matter. I'll get into it later, but that's just like what we're gonna be doing as well. Now we're gonna also have cycling rooms where we will have a pretty good cat that's gonna have good stats, and it's gonna be related usually to the bull. And what we'll be then doing, we have to cycle away from the bull generationally two times. Like, we're gonna create two artificial useless generations and then make a good cat after that, and that can breed with the bull again, and the kittens will not be inbred. You need to do it 2 times. If you do it once, the kittens are still gonna be slightly inbred, and if you do it anymore, you're just like wasting time basically. Like you like you don't have to do it for, but you can. It doesn't matter though, right? After the bull dies, we replace the bull with its new partner, and yeah, that's basically like the very very simple overview of this. Now let's get into it like more in depth. So this is gonna be the setup. This is the important. Oh, oh, I did not mean to do this. So this is the setup, right? So this is the bull, and this is gonna be his perfect partner. These are the two high statted cats you will need. No, like this one and this one. These are the two really strong cats you will need, and then the bull. And now this is just like a stray that's gonna breed with the pure cat. So this is gonna be the start of the setup. This is how it's gonna look at the beginning, right? I don't really have another picture, but this is how it's gonna start, and then we'll get into what we're gonna do. So there are going to be some stuff happening, right? There's gonna be, these will be making kittens, and these will be making kittens, right? They'll be making kittens, and I will have like a guide on what to do with both of these kittens, right? Now, ideally, you want to have at least the fourth room that I was mentioning before. This is where, like, I use this room for example, and it's basically like the war room. It's like the room that whenever it gets filled with 4 cats, I take him out on an adventure, basically, right? That's how I do it. Like whenever this room gets filled out, filled to 4 cats, I just take him out to an adventure. I'm kind of alluding to the fact that that's like the room where the good cats go, you know, because this system is producing basically copies of the bull, right? Like the same cat with the same stats, the same abilities. Um, that's how I use them. I obviously send them to an adventure because I need money for better furniture and all that, right? So you want to be placing them somewhere, right? But I have like a list of the things you actually need to do whenever anything happens in the system. So let's get onto it. So the first thing that's gonna happen, the bull is gonna make a kitten, right? So if the kitten is bad, it doesn't have what you want. It has some bad mutations or diseases. That's an important key thing, especially with the bull. If like the bull, obviously you're gonna have like a big genetic tree stemming from the bull. So if any of the cat gets like a bad mutation along the way, that's really bad because then like there's a high chance the whole tree gets corrupted, and then yeah, you do not want that, right? So, or if the kin cannot breed, you just like throw it away. I say repurpose it. You can do whatever with what you want with it. You can send it to Tink and eventually get some money, or you can put it in the fighting room, not the war room, the fighting room. That you should be familiar with the concept of a fighting room. It's just how to farm injured cats to give to Jack, to baby Jack, to get better shops. I'm not gonna be explaining that here. If you want me to, let me know, but you should be familiar with it. If it's good enough and can breed compared with its successor. So this is the first time I'm gonna be mentioning the successor. So at the start, as you know, the successor room is empty. So if the bull makes a kitten that's like good enough, it has the good passive, it has the good stats, it has the good active, you just put it here. And also, it has to be able to breed, right? If it has all of these things, you put it in the successor room. Now, let's say they make another kitten like this, and it's the same thing, but it's the other gender. You put it here again. You want to have a successor for both genders, because then the pairing when the bull dies will be way easier, and a lot of luck involved is like just like being thrown out the window because we are making this more safe, right? So you will be having a female successor and a male successor. A non-binary successor is basically like a wild card. It doesn't matter if it's like you can put it in instead of a male or a female successor. It's a wild card, right? So that's an important mention. So let's say you get a kitten. At the start, the successor room will be empty, so you just put the kitten there. Now, let's just say that kitten is a boy. So now the bull makes another boy that can breed and is like very good. If this kitten is better than than the successor you have in the successor room, then you replace it with the successor, and the successor and you can repurpose the old successor for something else. I send him on an adventure, for example, but you can do whatever you want with it, right? So you place it. If the cat has good stats, it's good for fighting, and it has the passive or active you want, but it's gay, and it's not, and it's binary, so it cannot breed. You can just put it into the war room immediately, right? Because you don't want it to be a successor, because you need the successors to be able to breed. But you don't want to throw it away. That cat is perfectly good for adventures. So yeah, do that. So yeah, if the new cat is better than the successor of the same gender, then just like swap him out, and the old successor can be repurposed for anything. All right. So yeah, that's how you get the good cats, right? So you will always be ready with two successors, one from each gender, and we'll get later into why we need that. Now let's talk about the cycles. So in the cycling room, all right, you'll have a high status cat and a stray. The strayers are important because we want to basically clean the generational tree. The generational tree, and by having strays in there, they are bringing fresh DNA into it, and they are completely lowering the inbreeding stat. That's something like the player cannot see, but it's like a thing that's being always calculated. So that's why we want to bring in the strays, and that's why the high appeal is important. We need those strays to have high stats, so that the whole process is faster, easier, and the cats are stronger. So the pure cat has a kitten with the stray. Now, if the kitten is has good enough stats, it replaces its parents. You throw away the parents, you repurpose them, and the kitten is now alone in the cycling room. And now you're on a quest to find it a stray, right? You take the first stray of the same gender, of the opposite gender, so they can make new kittens. Um, but if you find later a stray that can also breed with the kitten, but it's better than the old stray, then you swap out those strays, and you can repurpose the old stray, and you will be doing the cycle twice. Basically, what's happening, we're creating two artificial generations. That What that means is that after two cycles, if the after two cycles, the new kitten with like another stray you'll find, if they make a cat, and then this cat will breed with one of the successors from the breeding room, then the kitten they will have will be it will be not inbred. It won't be inbred, like 0% inbred, which is what we want. So that's why we need to do these two cycles. We need to get away twice away from the ball, so that the new kittens will be far away enough from the successors, so that when they breed, they will be like birthing kittens that are not inbred. So that's the cycling part explained. And now we're going to be talking about the third generation. So after two cycles, you're going to be having the third generation in the cycler room. So that's going to be a pure kitten, a pure cat, and a stray. The pure cat, by the way, it doesn't need to have perfect stats. They just need to be good enough. Sometimes I compromise with like one stat away, but sometimes you'll be rewarded and you will luck out and get like an all seven stats. Now, whenever this pair will make a new kitten, you store it in the successor room. You have to separate them from the successor from the breeding room. You don't want to mix them up. But yeah, you will be again gathering successors from both genders using non-binary as a wild card, and you will be doing this until the bull dies. Now there is like a caveat to choosing successors from both the breeding room and also the cycling room. There's like an important thing of note. Let's just say your successor is already like 20 years old and you get like a new successor that's like a tad bit worse. Well, sometimes you need to replace the successor anyways because you cannot have a successor that's too old. Otherwise, then it won't last for too long, and it might not give birth to a good successor enough. So, I highly recommend just getting like taking age, take like thinking about the age of your successors. They cannot be too old. Like when they're too old, just like replace them with a new kitten that's like good enough. It has good enough abilities and it can work. Right? So that's what I recommend. Now, the difference is we don't give a fuck about abilities from the successors from the cycling room. We only care about stats. The better the stats, the better the kittens after this, right? And you do this until the bull dies. When the bull dies, from the successor room, you will find a pair. The pair has to be like this. One cat has to be from the successor pool from the breeding room, and the other cat has to be of the opposite gender from the pool from the cycling room. Now you pick the best pair. Best means the best stats, the best ability, the most abilities inherited, the most passives inherited. By that I mean the desired ones, the ones you want to inherit. And lastly, you have to take into account the age. Ideally, you want those cats to be young. The younger, the better. All right. So now the breeding room gets completely replaced. You can repurpose the old like cat that the perfect cat that was in the breeding room. I usually like put it in the fighting room or throw it out, but you can do whatever you want with it. And you put this new pair up there. Now, what's gonna happen again? Not gonna happen again. What you're gonna do is you're gonna flush out the rest of the successors. There's gonna be one more successor from the breeding room in the successor room. You can use that as a fighting cat. And then there's gonna be at least one successor from the cycling room. You can throw that cat away because that cat only has good stats, but it doesn't have the abilities you were breeding. So you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to fight with it, sure, but I don't do it. So that's repurposing, and now you're basically at square one. You can now repeat this how many times you want. With good enough stimulation, comfort, and appeal, you should not run into any hiccups, but it can happen. So yeah, but this is basically it. Now let's just talk about quickly how we can improve this. So the breeding room, the name of the game is stimulation. You need high stimulation, especially if you want to breed a passive ability, which is what I'm doing, and which is what you're gonna be doing eventually, very soon. It's pretty fucking important you breed one of two OP abilities that I will not be spoiling as of yet. Those who know exactly what I mean. Yeah, so you need high stimulation, high comfort, and high health, so that the bull dies very late. The higher the health, the older your cats can get. So the you really want good health up there. Be careful with mutation stats in that room. Uh, as far as I know, I don't think I've ever gotten a bad mutation from like a plus from like a positive mutation stat in the room. Um, but you can get one that's like, oh, it looks positive, but it's actually like bad for your setup. So beware of those mutations, because again, whatever happens to the ball, it can completely fuck up your family tree going forward, and you might need to start over again. In the successors room, there's not really much. You just need some comfort so the cats don't kill each other, and ideally some health so that the successors do not grow old in there if you get desperate and you do not get a young enough successor. So yeah, some health is needed, but the comfort is the only thing you care about. Now in the cycling room, you want a high comfort. You basically want the cats to have a kitten every night. If that's not happening, you want to increase that comfort. Some stimulation is then good too. Ideally, you would like a lot of stimulation, but the problem is you will be funneling stimulation in the breeding room. So basically give this cycling room the crumbs of stimulation that's left up for breeding room, and then you ideally want to give it some health so the cats don't die on you too early. Now you can always increase appeal, makes the strays better, since every single cycle you will be looking for a new stray. You know, the better your strays are, the better your cats overall are. So increasing appeal, always good. And I just want to talk about the 2.5 room theories. Is the one way I'm thinking I can improve this, and it's where with high enough comfort, and like if you're lucky enough, you can basically ditch the cycling room and do the cycling in the breeding room. The benefits of this are pretty obvious because all the comfort and stimulation is in the breeding room. So now the cats in the cycling room do not have to eat crumbs, and they can be there too. You basically have to establish the pair in a separate room, like just put the cycle cat and the stray cat into a room, let them have a kitten, they will like form a pair, and then if you put it into the breeding room where like a pair is formed, most of the time the pairs just have kittens with each other. They do not like crossbreed, but it can happen. So it's like it starts to become luck dependent. And in the case where, for example, like basically a cheating occurs in the breeding room, some fights can actually happen because the cats will get jealous. That's just like a theory in my head. I haven't really fact checked if that's correlated, but it happens to me. So it's like a way you could. I haven't really run the test like for long enough where I can tell you if the 2.5 room is worth it and better than this over the long term. I might do it in the future. Also, 2.5 room is because you will need like a room to establish a pair, but only for like 1 or 2 nights. So that's why I'm saying 2.5 rooms. So if you need more rooms for your other shenanigans, you might want to try it out. And if you do, please do let me know and report me your findings. I'm very interested. Yeah, I think that's about it. I gotta be honest, I'm not all that happy with this video. When I was planning to make this video, in my head I was imagining myself being able to speak about it better and make better images, and I don't know, I feel like I haven't really gotten my point across. But I'm putting this out there, um and I hope someone can maybe understand and maybe improve their breeding game. I don't know. Anyways, I'm very tired. My mouth hurts and I don't feel all that great. So take care and yeah, have some fun with Mewgenics. If you know, let me know. I may just try and redo this video with more images and maybe some in-game footage. As of now, I found this way to be the most efficient to tell you what I want to, but now we're at the end. I don't really feel all that great, so we'll see. Yeah, happy holidays. Yeah, take care.